Peter.
Well, we're Evanless.
Yeah, Evan's gone this week. Told us on Saturday he wouldn't be here this week because... What was his excuse?
Christmas worship
he was
rehearsal?
In the hospital.
Oh,
with
that one. I was trying to make up one that's not as embarrassing.
He had an infected vein from where he shared a needle or something. I couldn't keep track.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, when he gets high,
Is he visiting California?
It's really hard to keep up. Sick topical reference, bro. What state was it? Oregon that legalized literally every single drug?
Yes, yeah. It was Oregon.
Because they just couldn't arrest everybody.
Well, California...
He just gave up.
There's like, it's all legal. It's all legal.
It's fine.
Do you see there's another Chaz in Portland, by the way?
Really?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of videos. It's pretty hairy. Like, they've literally barricaded the street. Like, there's a fence of rubble. And, like, yeah. They're, like, literally pushing reporters out that come in and try to record stuff.
Nice.
It's hairy. Yeah. What were you going to say, Chad?
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned Oregon and their drugs. California, last time I checked, just, like, give out thousands of needles.
Oh, yeah.
Like especially, like, I think San Francisco. Like,
yeah,
just, like, actually thousands of them clean ones, because so many people were getting... HIV and hepatitis.
Hepatitis
B?
is a huge problem. The one I can't remember, the one that spread through poo-poo, because there's so many homeless people, but no public restrooms.
Yeah.
So what they did, this is kind of like one of those weird ripple effect things that like Mao Zedong found out the hard way, and I'll touch back on that, but like. What they did was they found out people were shooting up in the public bathrooms. The homeless people were shooting up in the bathrooms. So there were no more public bathrooms. So what happened were people started pooping in the street. So there's human poop everywhere, hepatitis outbreak. And also rats. So I've probably said this before, but the last time there was the same ratio of rats to humans in a city, the Black Plague started. As there is in California right now.
Because of
the lack of public restrooms.
So that's just a side topic. So shooting up in the bathrooms, no public bathrooms, poop in the street, right? Hepatitis outbreak. So what they did is they started setting up porta potties for the homeless people now, and started handing out clean needles, so you could do your drugs safely. Mm-hmm. Because they're just like, well, we can't. It's literally illegal to put those people in like a mental health facility now. That's illegal in California. You can't pick those people off the street and put them in a place where they can get mental health care. That's wrong to say that like there might be something wrong with their brain.
Yeah. I did hear, I'm probably getting this way off, but like one of the reasons that Oregon legalized all narcotics like that is because there was another country that did it as well a while back, and it was because basically the same thing. Because it was illegal, people were afraid to come into hospitals to get clean because of the stigma of it being illegal.
Yeah.
And they were afraid of getting arrested because they were using illegal drugs. So now that it's legal, the idea is for them to start coming into hospitals and rehabilitation centers to get clean without the stigma of getting arrested or the fear of getting arrested.
That's great, but there's a lot of ways to do that.
There are a lot of other. They said that the usage rate did go down, or at least the death rate did go down.
Yeah,
overdosing rate went down.
I think in Arkansas, if you call in because somebody's ODing, they can't be arrested or charged with anything, and you can't either. It's like everybody within a square mile, if they have a drug charge, is dropped if you call in somebody ODing, basically. I think they do that here.
Well, I know they do that on like college campuses.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, it's like it's somebody. What are you gonna do? Let them die because you don't want to go to jail? It's just call them in.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't happen as much.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry. That's the way that I would like to think it would happen. It's like, because it's illegal and everybody might get in trouble, therefore people would be paranoid about overdosing or getting alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
But people don't think that way, so it wouldn't work that way.
I was really disappointed when I was in college because I never saw anybody get, like, that drunk. Like, that, like, hospital drunk. Grace, my fiance, was an RA, and one guy came in and threw up in the elevator one night at, like, 1 a.m, and then wouldn't let anybody clean it up. He, like, stood in the doorway and, like, wouldn't let anybody clean it up because he wanted to clean it up, but he kept forgetting to go, like, get the thing to clean it up with. Because
he was protecting it?
I don't know. He was drunk. He was wasted. But I never saw anything cool and funny like that. I just saw my roommates coming in the middle of the night and doing stupid stuff. But yeah. Thanks for your input. For all our audio listeners, Chad was working on a thought there for a second, but okay, that didn't go anywhere.
No, I literally had nothing to go with there. I was just...
Well, so I mentioned Mao Zedong a second ago.
The other day?
Yeah, the other day.
The other day.
Man. I always think of him, he was the communist dictator of China. They have, like, the picture of him in Tiananmen Square. He did this cool thing where the birds were eating all the crops, so he was paying people per bird to kill the birds. And so, of course, one of the largest countries in the world, most of them are poor farmers. They killed, like, all the birds, like every bird in the whole country. And then what happened was bugs ate all the crops, and there was a huge famine. So they went from famine to killing birds to famine.
Nice.
Because he was like, let's wreck the ecosystem.
Yeah.
In the name of communism.
And then he was like, all right, for every bug.
And then what happens?
I mean, and then...
Aliens.
Yeah.
It turns out that bugs were keeping aliens away the whole time. Yeah. It'd be something weird like that.
Well, I was going to say, without, at least a few of the bugs, the pollination won't happen, and then we'll...
That's facts.
And then you're going to run into the same issue where you don't have crops.
We learned today that Chad did take biology in high school.
Actually, it was environmental science, and fun fact, I didn't learn a thing. No, I just watched B-Movie a couple of times.
Did you watch B-Movie in environmental science?
No, just in life. Just
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like last week.
He's like, you watched B-Movie in environmental?
You know, there's those movies that you will always associate with school.
Yes.
I'm sure it's different for you, but, like, was there a movie that you had to watch for school that you will always associate with school?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do have an experience with watching a movie for school. So
Spill.
I'm on the edge of my seat. This is good.
It was for literature class. My mom thought some extracurricular, like, bonus material would be to get the movie Macbeth. Macbeth? Yeah, it was Macbeth to watch. And the one she
Macbeth
rented
is hardcore.
Yes.
Anyways,
the one she rented was a Playboy production.
Oh.
I mean, it was Macbeth. It was the Macbeth.
But, like, everybody was
pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the scene with the witches, butt naked, like,
wow,
tits hanging to their knees. Like, it was. Yes, it was.
I'd get that looked up by a professional.
Wow.
Yeah, we thought that was kind of interesting.
Macbeth is really hardcore. I always loved Hamlet. I don't know if that makes me, like, 10% gay or something.
We also
I
watched,
love Hamlet.
It was, I can't remember, but it was a Midsummer Night's Dream. That one is weird.
I never read that. That's a weird one. Though.
Like it was weird.
I also really like the Iliad. Like, I know there's a lot of translations, but there's that part in the Iliad where Achilles, it's Hector, I think, is his rival, and Achilles gives his armor to, like, his armor bearer to wear in battle because he basically takes the day off, and Hector, his rival, kills the guy who was wearing his armor. And so the whole city that they're basically attacking celebrates. And they're like, we killed freaking Achilles. Like, we basically killed a demigod and whatnot, and Achilles like mourns for the day and then suits up in his armor, and then he goes to the city gates first thing the next morning, and he like gives this monologue that's like, are you so freaking stupid that you actually thought you killed me? And then he kills Hector and then drags his body behind his horse for the rest of the day. Like, it's so hardcore.
I've never read the Iliad, but I have seen Troy.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
But I really did like reading the Odyssey.
The Odyssey was awesome,
It was also
too.
a good one.
Yeah.
I can't believe that was high school. I feel like that was like 3 weeks ago that I read the Odyssey for some reason.
Beowulf was good too.
I never
haven't
got to
seen
read
that one.
that. I read...
I love that. I love it. Hadn't seen that one. Haven't read that one.
read that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it is a movie, and it came out
Yes.
when we were kids.
well, and I've only ever heard people talk about the movie.
Oh.
I've never heard anybody talk about the book.
Which movie are you?
It's like kind of cartoony,
like CGI,
sort of.
Very CGI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I mean.
When you were kids.
You were like, I was 27.
What? Yeah. What year was that?
Beowulf movie.
Fun fact: I watched
2007 is the one I'm thinking of.
I watched Forrest Gump in health
were
class
10.
one time.
In what class?
Health class, or sorry, not health class. Medical procedures.
Medical procedures.
Yeah, we were.
I was learning to be a nurse.
I went through like
We
all.
were learning about AIDS.
No, she doesn't have AIDS.
Nobody laughed. I was so sad.
I don't think Jenny has AIDS. She has a hepatitis.
No, it
some
was
sort.
HIV.
She has straight up
It was
AIDS.
HIV. She
HIV
said-
turned into AIDS and
Yes.
killed you back then.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but you
You
know,
are.
Hear me
You
out. Hear me out.
are.
That wasn't even what it was about. We were watching it because we were learning about like mental disabilities, and we watched that. There you go.
That's what you watched for that. Isn't
Hepatitis C or HIV.
either or? Those are different. Those are very
I'm
It
different.
says
wondering-
suffering from an unknown cure with, and it says hepatitis C or HIV.
So yeah, I think that's what it is. That she never says what she has, but she said she's dying. It's HIV.
It says deceased died from hepatitis C, stated in Gump and Co. by author Winston Groom.
Oh, that's the book, though.
Thank you very much.
That's the book, but you never read the book. That's not fair.
You know,
you
there's
never
like-
read the book.
there's like a second
You would have
book.
never known that had you not looked it up and saw that he said it was hepatitis C
I
in the
just
book.
told you, and I didn't read the book.
There's
Just
a
told you
second
before I looked it
Forrest
up.
Gump book where he goes to space.
That's not real.
It is.
What?
I swear to God.
There's
I
a
just read
second
about
book
it the other day. Yeah.
where he goes to space.
Yeah, he wrote 2 books.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That's not,
You know, Rocky
Forrest would do
Rocky
that.
4, he fights like the training robot in that movie.
yeah, I think so.
You don't know?
I never saw that far into
Maybe.
it.
What was it, Rocky 3? Whichever one. There's
Yeah.
one of those movies. There's like a boxing
Okay.
training robot.
Okay.
That movie was actually supposed to be Rocky going to Mars and fighting an alien.
Oh, I'm so sad that they
And-
didn't make that
And
now.
the training robot was the only thing that like made it from that spec script into the final film.
Oh man.
My other favorite fun fact is that Alien, the movie Alien, 1979, my favorite movie ever, was so successful that James Cameron pitched a sequel that we know is Aliens to Universal. He went into the boardroom, he took out a whiteboard, and on it said Alien, and he just put a $sign at the end, and it was like Aliens. And they sold him.
All right.
They sold it to us.
Speaking of aliens, I can't take credit for this, but I heard an awesome idea to take care of our illegal immigrants and our sexual predators. Okay?
All right, hold on to your butts.
Yep. So
gonna be good.
we offer citizenship to illegal immigrants by them tracking down sexual predators,
Heard this.
and we call it Alien versus Predators.
Okay. All right. All right.
I thought it was funny.
That's
pretty
hey,
good.
it's not a bad idea.
Pretty good.
I mean, solves
Have you-
2 of our problems.
Did you see YouTube started banning those channels of people that like confront the pedophiles?
Really?
Yeah, they like because it's dangerous. But like,
Okay.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it either.
I mean, because if they were dangerous at all,
Yeah.
they'd be going after adults. No, maybe not.
So you said wow. We're gonna let that marinate.
Just
for a
cut
while.
that.
Past
Just
that.
cut that. Just cut that, please.
Please.
Pretty please.
Please.
You said a little while ago. Which one was it? Not Macbeth, but the other one that you liked.
Hamlet.
And you said
Yeah, Hamlet's awesome.
so. Well, you said that as if like that was like a guilty pleasure movie for you or something.
It is, because it's like super like teen angst kind of. Yeah.
Well, so does anybody have a guilty pleasure movie? A movie that you would say and somebody in a room full of people would judge you a little bit. I've got mine off the top of my head, but I'm curious what y'all's are.
Like mine would be half of the movies that you would be like, that's a good movie.
Maybe this will help put it in perspective.
Okay.
I actually really enjoy A Walk to Remember. It's a good movie, dude. It's a classic. It's a classic.
Okay. Maybe.
It's a good movie.
So mine might be. It's recent, if I think about it. The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Haven't seen it. I know the movie though. About the dude in his car.
And his dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts out with his dog dying in a puddle of his own urine.
Won't watch it.
And yeah, no,
Won't ever
it's
watch it.
Yeah, it's and that like immediate like ugly tears right then. So
Yeah.
but it's a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think mine's like that. Mine would be like Home Alone.
What? Everybody loves that movie.
Yeah, but I would watch it like all year.
Okay. That sounds like a smart movie for smart people. What?
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't call it a smart movie. Yeah.
Well,
It might not
I
be
guess that's my
Inception, but
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. I really love like not B movies, but like B tier 80s horror movies.
Okay.
Like the ones that it's not like nobody's ever heard of this movie or like everybody's heard of this movie. The ones that are like right in the middle.
so not the first Friday the 13th.
That movie is kind of stinky poo poo.
It kind of does suck. Spoiler alert. It's his mom the whole time.
Yeah. Well, that was
What kind of movie is
because they weren't planning on making more movies. But then they were like, well, we make the second one, it has to actually be the son, right? And then there's like 18 of them now.
Which we all know which one's the best one.
Jason X.
Jason in Space, I think you mean.
Yeah. Unironically,
So
though,
I've
I
not
think
seen any of these movies.
the best one is Friday the 13th 4, in my opinion. It has Corey Feldman in it. Like, actually has a plot.
Freddy vs. Jason isn't terrible.
That movie isn't
As
terrible.
far as-
It's actually pretty funny
Yeah,
most
like,
of the time.
As far as like how those movies kind of go.
Yeah.
So are
I
they
watched a
supposed
movie
to be
called...
like funny or
No, they're not really.
Not intentionally, but they are.
Freddy vs. Jason...
Actually,
movies-
that one might be intentionally.
So the first movie with Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, that one wasn't supposed to be funny. I watched that for the first time a while back, and it's actually pretty good. It holds up pretty well. But the rest of them got progressively funnier because he would just do more wacky stuff because it's all about the dreams, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, so he kills people in their dreams.
Okay.
And then they don't wake up, basically.
Okay.
And the dreams
I
just
guess
kept
I
getting
only know
weirder.
about it, I guess, from Rick and Morty. So
Oh, it's the same thing. Exactly the same
okay.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so the dreams just kept getting weirder as the series went on.
Okay.
And then eventually there was a movie where it was literally all of the actors of the first movie and the director were playing themselves, the real life version of them, as the actors in that movie. And then it turns out the director of the first Freddy movie wrote that movie to keep Freddy at bay, because if there were movies about him, he wouldn't be real, and then they stopped making movies, and then he became real. So it was the actors of the first movie as themselves fighting Freddy.
We're getting a few layers deep here.
It's really like way too meta.
I feel like these are movies I should get into and check
So
out.
I watched a movie called Phantasm the other night. It's on Amazon Prime for free. That movie is hilarious. It's
Okay.
not supposed to be hilarious,
Okay.
but it's definitely worth a
Yeah,
watch.
there's some movies where you start watching, like there's been times when I start watching a movie on Netflix or Hulu or even Amazon where they're like, it seems like nobody's gonna know this movie, like it's not a popular movie.
Yeah.
And you start watching it, and it looks like it's supposed to be a drama or something serious, and I'm just laughing the whole time because it's like obnoxiously ridiculous.
Yeah. With this one, it was the delivery of the dialogue a lot of the time. And also, like, there's like a main villain, but he has lackeys, and they're all played by little people. And then,
that's amazing.
And then there's like a shadow realm that they're all coming from, and one guy gets a peek into it, and it's just like a bunch of little people on like a red planet. And I was like, I can't believe there was a time when people could take this seriously.
That's great.
And that, I mean, it was hilarious. I loved it.
Not the original one, but the remake with Tom Cruise, War of the Worlds, is actually, I kind of like it, but it's kind of, I feel like a lot of the lines and stuff, like the delivery is just not good.
Yeah, Tom Cruise can kind of be...
Which to me, I think makes it a little bit comical.
Yeah. What time are we at?
Right at
21.
Oh. Felt like it'd been way longer.
I actually...
Because conversation really rolls.
I've got a topic, but I got
Cool.
Because Adam Sandler embezzled all the money.
He embezzled all the money?
Where would that money go? I mean, have you seen
actors.
the movie? They shot the whole movie at a cabin.
Yeah.
It should have cost like $400,000.
Dang.
The first Jumanji movie cost $65 million.
That was back in the day.
Well, yeah, and so I was kind of thinking, and I knew that, and I remembered about where that stood, so I was thinking that, new movies might be even more with inflation and whatnot, but...
It depends, because it's like, if they made Jumanji nowadays...
Not the piece of crap they just released a few years ago.
No, if they tried to
Jumanji.
remake that...
The Robin Williams.
Shot for shot, but with CGI instead of real special effects, it would have been cheaper with the CGI.
Really?
Yes. Because you don't have to... There's less people involved, and that's really what it comes down to. It's like a guy can... do those scenes at a computer.
It may take a little bit longer.
It might take longer,
but
there's no hazards. They don't have to pay insurance. There's less people involved. You don't have to schedule. It almost always ends up being cheaper. Yeah.
And start, because that was the middle of a conversation. We can't start that.
Hey, where am I
Cool.
thrown in?
yeah.
What did you have to brush up on?
So
We're just starting again.
Yeah, I remembered about a topic that this touched on a topic that we discussed a little bit ago, and it also kind of one of our favorite things, conspiracy theories, and something you don't care about, the Titanic.
Oh yeah, I don't care about the Titanic.
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. Okay,
Yeah, I
so-
still don't care about it at all.
Okay.
At all.
I know, we know, but just humor me, okay? So apparently there is a theory that the Titanic didn't actually ever sink.
I saw that on Reddit.
I don't know anything about
I didn't
this.
watch anything
Okay.
about it. I
Okay.
saw it and I was literally like, I don't care about the Titanic. And literally, that's exactly what happened.
All right, so the company that built the Titanic
Okay.
had another ship that was
we're already
already
starting with the allegedly.
yeah,
At the
exactly.
Top, it's all
Alleged-
allegedly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they had another ship that was already in service called the Olympic. And it was apparently on its last legs. Like, they were waiting for it to sink.
No, was it insurance fraud?
Yes.
Oh!
So what they did was, the theory goes that they painted Titanic on the Olympic. And they were letting it, because they knew it was going to sink, and they were going to collect the insurance on the Titanic. Certain specific things that are pointed out is that let me get my notes so I get the facts straight, or facts.
It's almost too genius.
Right?
And I'm going to say this because I'm going to cut it out while there's a space. The Jews had to be involved.
Just say.
I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Well, so the Olympic had 16 portholes on the side of it.
Okay.
The Titanic only had 14. When James Cameron was filming the movie,
Yeah.
they dove down to investigate
Yes,
the actual
because
Titanic.
He did a lot of the modern day research about the Titanic for the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they counted 16 portholes.
Oh.
And there's a spot where you have a huge M and P right next to it. Like the paint, you can see it through all the overgrowth and everything. There's a huge M and P on it.
Titam kick.
Titam tick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tamp tick. There was a huge coal strike in London at the time, and there was no work for the coal miners, and none of the coal miners would go, and they were offered jobs on the Titanic because it was a coal-powered ship, but they all refused because there were rumors that it was going to sink because it wasn't the Titanic.
Okay.
A bunch of wealthy people had tickets to sail on the Titanic and just didn't show up, like J.P. Morgan.
See, I thought J.P. Morgan was on it.
No.
I thought that was one of the people who was on it.
No, the day the paper came out of the sinking, he was seen with his girlfriend or wife at dinner.
Yeah.
That night.
Another one of the conspiracy theories I've seen is like 5 of the people. I don't know anything about the Federal Reserve conspiracy theory. I don't know anything about that. So don't ask any questions. But I've just seen a post that showed that 5 of the people that voted to pass the Federal Reserve, which people think is a bad thing, which I don't know why, were on the Titanic. So I don't know what that means, but there were a ton of rich people on there. Naturally, because it's like the biggest ship.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like, was there a social club?
Oh yeah, I mean,
sure there was.
The people that were involved with the Federal Reserve. Yeah, there's like a. I mean, it all kind of all has to do with the Illuminati and stuff like that too. So yeah, the families that are involved with creating the the Federal Reserve are also tied to the Illuminati and crap like that.
And then you get to the bottom of that, and the concrete base is Jews, and you lose me. You lose me. If the basis of your conspiracy is the Jews did it,
yeah.
I'm like, and the Jews are human beings who do things sometimes, and they don't all know each other. It's shocking, I know.
Yeah,
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Well, you were asking if like the Titanic was like a social club, like everybody on there. Like I imagine it kind of like. Have you ever seen that really really crappy movie, This Is the End?
Only with you, and
is
I
that
don't
where
think
the
we
big
finished it.
is like the party and the big huge? Yes,
yeah.
yes.
The
I've
movie's
seen it.
absolutely terrible.
It's garbage.
Complete
Hannibal's in
garbo.
it, though, isn't he?
Huh?
Hannibal?
No.
Who's in that?
It's got
Some other black guy.
the Daryl from The Office. I don't know his real name.
I thought Hannibal had a small part. I thought I had seen him talking about it one time. Maybe not, though.
Maybe, and I just never noticed him. But anyway, it's basically just a bunch of famous people in there, like who are all just hanging out. It's like that. Like that's kind of what I'm imagining the Titanic was like. Like everybody just got on. They all just knew each other.
Yeah, everywhere you went, it was like a celebrity cameo. It's like, I went to the buffet and I saw Tom Cruise. Like, I don't know if Tom Cruise is on this Disney cruise.
Yeah, they're all playing shuffleboard on there.
Yeah.
That's an old person thing, I guess. Really.
There's a place to play shuffleboard in Bentonville.
Yeah.
It's called The Holler. Have you guys been there?
No. Why would we ever go
The
there?
Holler.
It's like
Is it like the in Bentonville? You said there's like a.
Isn't that like curling but not on ice?
Doesn't Bike Rack have a brewery there, or
They might.
at least a tap room there?
They might.
It's like a thing.
they
place.
have
That's my question.
4 lanes of shuffleboard.
Okay.
And then there's a bar, and then a bar, a coffee bar, and then the building's a square, and all around the outside of the building are like food stands.
Trucks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some are inside, there's food trucks outside. It's really cool. You should
Answer
go.
my question.
Huh?
Answer my question.
What about what?
Isn't shuffleboard kind of like curling but not on ice?
Curling is scored differently, but yeah.
Will would know this information.
Yeah.
Will knows everything.
You can knock people's pieces off in shuffleboard. Yeah. I was terrible at it. We went for a work thing, and I was terrible at it. Yeah. I always overshot
I'll never
it.
be old enough to play shuffleboard.
Sure you will. You'll get there.
You already are.
Granny. 30. Imagine. Right?
Unreal.
7 years ago, we were 16.
I was 23 and married 2 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Holy crap!
That's crazy. Chad, we are as far from 30 as we are from 16.
Okay.
That kind of blows my mind a little bit. Anyway. What do I smell? Do you guys smell that?
It's your upper lip, dude.
Bad?
No, I can't tell if it's coffee or a skunk or weed.
Dude, I got him.
I can't tell either.
Okay.
Might be coffee. I don't know why she'd be making coffee right now.
Why not?
It's
dude?
smelling more like coffee every
Yep,
second.
I smell it now. It's
Okay.
coffee. Why?
I don't
She
know.
thirsty.
Thirsty.
Thirsty. So we were talking a little bit earlier about moving. Will's getting ready to move.
Yep.
To which I started saying I've moved Evan 5 or 6 times. I've helped that boy move.
Wow. I'm sure he would dispute that if he were here. So I'm going to go ahead and say, no, you haven't.
No, okay. he because we were talking about it one time. Hold on.
Chad's counting for all our audio listeners. He counts on his fingers.
This has to be a clip, right? No
Up,
audio.
Up to 6, Chad has to count on his fingers. We do know that.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
I think it's 6.
What?
I think it's 6.
You think it's 6? It
I
might be
think so.
7?
It could be more. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's like trying to like putting a pin in like a timeline of life of like, oh yeah, I moved Evan. Like, I think it's 6. I don't. It could be more.
2014.
July 7th.
How many places have you guys lived in since you've been since 18? Like,
So I moved out of my parents' house because I lived there when I was 18. So parents' house, dorm, back to parents' house, apartment at the university, parents' house, apartment in Little Rock, parents' house when I started working here, and then apartment.
I've
So
moved
times.
I've moved 8 times. I've lived 5 different places.
4 different places, including this one.
okay, see, parents' house, apartment. How long do we have to have lived at a place to count it?
I feel like
3
if you
weeks.
moved your stuff there,
If you moved stuff.
So see,
Nashville counts.
no, not Nashville, but the 2 weeks before we went on tour, where all my stuff was in storage and we slept on a couch.
That doesn't
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Okay, so 1, 2, Nashville, my parents' driveway, studio apartment, and then here, so 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
this
this-
is riveting interview.
And this
I know.
man's Evan has moved like 7 times.
Like last year. Yeah.
He do be moving a lot though.
He does be moving a lot. I mean, I'll pass a house and I'll be like, oh, that's where Evan lived.
Last
like
year?
3 weeks ago?
It's kind of like him in cars. He just kind of moves on.
Yeah. Yeah, they do be moving sometimes, though.
He's like oh, what's his face? And my cousin Vinny. He's like, I'm done with this one. Have you guys ever seen that one?
No.
Oh
No.
my
That's
gosh.
funny, though.
Well, you never seen my cousin Vinny?
Uh-uh.
It's got the kid who plays as the Karate Kid.
Oh.
Like him and his buddy are.
Ralph Macchio?
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Him and his buddy are being accused of like killing a dude and robbing a store or something, and so he calls his cousin Vinny, who is golly, what's the dude's name? I can't think of it right now. He's one of the dudes on Home Alone, the short guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, and that's his cousin, and he like has to like defend him in law, and he's never done it before, but he acts like this like Jersey dude.
Oh.
And so every
Like
time
Charlie and Sonny. Bird Law.
oh
Yeah.
and he defends him, and every time he has somebody up at the stand, he's like, all right, I'm done with this one.
I'm done with this one. That's funny, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, that's Evan with cars and places to live.
Yeah.
He's there for a minute, and he's like, yep, we're finished.
See, I don't like that. I like to know that I'm going to be the place I am for a while. Like, I like to get comfortable, you know?
Yeah. Well, and then I heard how much houses are going for in Fayetteville. I'm like, I've lived here long enough.
Yeah. It's like, how much more is it worth? And how long? People are moving here?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Imagine owning a house.
That's weird.
Right. Ugh.
You could do it, Chad. Just
Be
eat
smarter.
ramen noodles and oxygen.
Eat the oxygen.
I'm a breatharian. You heard of those people?
What?
I can't remember if it was on like
Now I'm
was-
interested.
If it was on like True TV or something, but there was this woman that was like telling people she was a breatharian, Like, she only needed to breathe. That was her diet. And she did, like, meditation and deep breathing. And they were like, okay, we'll send a team to observe you for a week. And, like, 4 days, and, like, her organs were failing.
Nice.
He's laughing about it.
Well, it's just because I hate BSers so much. And
And it's amazing when they get caught.
And she went 3 days without being like, I hate to tell you guys this.
Hear me out though. 3 days, man. That's a good bit of time.
That's a long time without food, though.
I mean,
It's a long time without water.
the Dalai Lama fasts like 30 days sometimes.
Yeah.
You can do it.
With no food or water?
I'm sure he drinks water.
Okay, I was about to say,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you need water to
Yeah,
survive.
you'll dehydrate, but like, she was like 70, I think. This
she's
is
not
a
eating that much
memory of a
anyway.
memory, but
yeah.
they like locked her in a hotel room and was like, okay, dope, let's see.
Prove
And
that.
she,
Have you seen that video of the news reporter trying to tell a joke?
DD Megadoodoo?
No. The news reporter's trying to tell a joke to the Dalai Lama. He's like,
No.
he's like, so you go into a pizza place and you tell them, they ask, what do you want on the pizza? And you tell them, I want one with everything. Like, and it's just going, he's like, I don't speak English. I don't get what
Yeah,
you're
it's not
saying.
his
Like,
language. It's only funny in
and
our
the dude's
language.
translating it to him, and here's the dude, and he's like, what? Like,
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't mean the same thing if you translate it.
yeah,
That's funny.
Well, and the reporter's cracking up. And he's like, I knew this was gonna bomb. like he knew this wasn't gonna go well.
The Dalai Lama was here when we were in like 9th grade at the university.
Well, yeah, I
remember
feel
that.
like I do recall something about
Yeah.
that. Why?
That I don't know. I don't know.
Why in God's green earth would that man come here?
I don't know. And why would you go? It's like, what is he gonna say? Be happier, be nice. Like what? I don't know. This has been my TED Talk. Thank you.
Yeah, not that I know much about that, but
It's just like Buddhism is just like have nothing and still be happy. That's Buddhism. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
What if you could be happy if you didn't have anything and didn't do anything either? It's like, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for this thought experiment. I was going to say something and it's gone. It's completely gone.
botched.
My new I wouldn't say hobby, but interest right now has been like mountaineering and like Mount Everest, and we watched the Everest movie yesterday with Jake Gyllenhaal in it.
So it's been your hobby for 24 hours.
No. I've been on this kick for a week or two. Shut up, you asshole.
Is that why I'm getting tagged in fanny pack posts on Instagram?
I don't know why. those are coming up right now.
It doesn't bother me. Keep tagging
Well,
it.
no, fun
It's
fact.
just all coming together.
but
Fun fact: fanny
see-
packs are also his new hobby.
But that's the thing, though. Fanny packs, I think of you for some reason, so that's why I'm tagging you.
Keep
in them.
tagging
I
me.
love those fanny packs. But yeah, I'm like, so, and I was telling my wife, I'm trying to seriously think if this is something I want to try to pursue, or I just like the idea of it, because that's a lot of work.
Have you ever been tired at altitude?
Well, I've hiked Pikes Peak.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done a 14er.
Yeah,
one,
so like that,
one,
but 3 times worse.
but 3 times worse.
Yeah, and you have to sleep up there.
Twice as worse.
Yeah.
it's
And you have to sleep up there.
it's worse, and you can die.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's worse, and you can fall, break your legs, suffer for many hours, and then die.
So bear with me, though.
Okay, but up there at that altitude, just get this. So I was watching. They've got a show on Amazon about Everest, and this dude. Now this was in 2006, but still, he takes his gloves off for a minute to take a picture. He insisted on getting his camera out and taking a picture. They all told him not to. Lost all 10 fingers.
Yep.
Just for that minute.
Yep.
It was ridiculous.
I was
That's crazy
like,
up there.
like this is gonna sound like a joke, but it's not. Because I have to park outside because I don't have a garage. So I was scraping ice off of my car this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have gloves because I'm a man. Just frankly. And I was like, yeah, I could see how that could happen. Like after 20 minutes of like, there was literally like 5 inches of snow on my car.
Yeah.
The whole front to bumper, there was snow, 5 inches of snow on it. And I had to scrape that off with a little trowel, basically. And I was like, yeah, I can see how my fingers would fall off.
Yeah.
And it was only like 20.
Yeah.
We were going to get Wingstop last night, like late. My car had been parked out there all day, so snow and stuff was all over it. And I got it off the windshield, and we start going, and it's dark out, so I have my headlights on. I'm like, man, I can't see shit. The snow was like on my headlights, and I drove like that all the way to Wingstop. Couldn't see anything. So when I get to Wingstop, I finally take it all off, and then we're going. I'm like, wow. So this is what it should be.
This is what the road looks like.
Well, I was also kind of wondering. I was like, man, wouldn't that be awesome if like some cop stopped me? He's like, headlights aren't on. No, sir, they are.
They are. You just can't see.
Yeah. Would you mind going up there? It looks like you got gloves on.
I'm pretty sure you can get ticketed for driving with too much snow on your car because it can fly off and like hit the person behind you.
I saw.
Screw that person.
Yeah.
Like,
saw
It's
so
like,
many.
don't drive so close.
Yeah.
You know?
So many intersections where the snow was falling off of the traffic lights and landing on cars. I'm like,
It warmed up really fast today.
yeah.
I did see some dudes crossing the street.
You did?
They appeared to be homeless. Yes, and a piece of ice fell from the street light, but it was like 15 feet from them. But I was wondering, like, what if it hit one of them? Like, I was just imagining like the scenario of like, what if they got in a fight? Like, it hits one, the guy just hits him, thinking it was him hitting him, and that's happening like in the intersection.
Only you would think of that.
Well, and I was wondering, I was like, well, what if the light turns green? Do I stay here and do I just watch this happen, or do I leave?
Do you watch?
No, you
the
do what those
hobo
people in
fight?
the videos do, and they just honk as there's people fighting on the street as they pass. Like that does something.
Like, yeah. Oh, somebody's honking. We should
I've
stop.
seen a lot of street fight videos, and that happens in all of them.
That's because Street Fight videos are awesome.
Yeah, they are
And the
awesome.
dude who takes his shirt off, 90% of the time loses.
Yeah, always.
That man was feeling overconfident.
What time are we at?
46.
25. Yeah.
Are we there?
Yeah.
What is that?
Maybe like 3 minutes ago.
What is?
Get another one for sure.
Cool.
So, hear me out. You better smell what I'm stepping in here.
Shh. Listen. You smell something?
It's a 10. The Walton Art, no, not the Walton Art Center. Dadgummit. The place up in Bentonville. What am I thinking of now? Jesus balls.
Crystal Bridges.
That's the one. They opened up some new area there, right? What's it called? It starts with an M. I don't even know what it's called.
The Momentary?
That's the one.
Okay.
See, this is why I keep you boys around.
It's an old cheese factory they turned into a museum coffee bar.
I feel like that entire place exists just so people could take photos and put that they were there.
No, it's a whole art museum.
Yeah. I never
haven't
hear about somebody going there. I always see it on Instagram.
Oh, you should go. It's cool.
You're missing the point.
I get it. I'm just
Okay.
saying. Well, I went and it's cool, and you should go.
Yeah. I should also take a photo and just put it on there while I'm there, right?
I didn't take a photo. You don't have to.
You're one.
I also didn't tell anybody about it. So
You're telling me. You're telling us right now. Yeah, I feel like stuff like that really exists so people can just say that they went there or put up that they went there.
well, we live in an area with a ton of white people, and that's what we do best is brag about what we're doing instead of actually doing it. Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say a second ago, I think freezing to death would be like one of the easiest ways to go.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
you won't know what's
hypothermia-
happening.
Hypothermia, you go completely crazy, and if you die from hypothermia, they usually find those people completely naked.
Yeah.
Because your brain is like, you're actually hot now.
Yeah.
And they take all their clothes off, and that's how they die.
Yeah.
So at least you wouldn't think you were cold anymore.
Yep.
You would just be completely normal and crazy, and then you go to sleep forever.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're hot, you're going to have a while of heat exhaustion. You're going to feel absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Or like burning to death, like on fire.
I was just thinking like you were like out in the desert and you have no water and you're just going to like actually just have a heat stroke. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you're going to feel
I
terrible.
would definitely rather freeze to death than be hot to death.
Yeah, if I had to
How do you
pick, I
die
think that
from
would be the
heat
way.
exhaustion?
heat to death.
Heat to death.
You've been heated.
Freeze. Heat.
Part of me is like, I don't want the last thing I feel to be cold. Like, I don't want to die cold. but you don't feel cold.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
And after a while, I mean, eventually your whole body's just gonna be numb, and you're not gonna feel it that much anyway.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it feels hot. Is because you're just completely numb.
Yeah.
And you're crazy.
One of the
delirious.
guys on the first season that actually summited, he summited with no legs because he lost his legs due to frostbite in another storm in New Zealand.
Can you say it the way you said it to me? He said it in a way that was really funny. He said something like he went there
with no legs.
No, you said he summited with 2 less legs.
Like you would have
legless,
3, maybe.
Legless.
No, you didn't say. You said like 2 less
weird?
legs. And that's why I was like, oh, because it'd be even weirder if he went with with +1, like
with an
or
extra
like-
leg.
Like 2 less, as if he might have had 3
Yeah.
and still had 1. Like the 2 less doesn't just mean no legs.
That's probably what I said.
It was something, yeah, and that's what got us on that whole 5-minute conversation.
Yeah.
When we get somewhere, we go deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially after a bottle of whiskey.
Like,
Okay.
That's
2 less legs.
All right. And alcoholism. Anyway,
yes.
That's irrelevant.
not drunk by the way.
It's neither
Not
here nor
drunk.
there.
But he also ended up losing like another inch off of his stumps because of frostbite going up to Everest.
Which, I mean,
I mean,
maybe
what's
this is a
another
bad
inch?
way. I was about to
What's
say,
another inch?
like, your legs
I
are
don't know,
not
Charlie,
here.
what's another inch? Hey, mark that.
Peter.
Speaking of cripples, Peter. Anyway, we have to transition off this somehow.
So, well, I don't know.
Recover somehow.
So, my parent, I know you guys kind of know, but my parents watched the episode of us discussing the logistics of a one-legged person having intercourse.
Having what?
I was so embarrassed,
Dude, so, okay.
just by proxy.
But the thing is, okay, I sent that first screenshot, and that was like, that's all I got for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh crap. Like, is she pissed? Like, because I didn't go there. It was you guys. That
Yeah.
wasn't me. And then she said that they were laughing so hard they were crying. So,
Yeah, your mom texts
yeah.
exactly like my mom, which is to say it's really hard to tell exactly what she means sometimes.
But also, she is quite passive-aggressive in person. Sorry, Mom, that's where I get it from. So she would do that in person, too.
Oh.
So she would make that comment, and then you wouldn't know if she's being serious
Yeah.
or not.
Well, have you ever had your mother text you something? It didn't really quite make sense, so you texted back what, and then they just sent the exact same text again.
Like you don't still have it.
Like, yeah, 2 times isn't gonna make me understand.
Yeah.
Texting is Snapchat. It just disappears.
It's like now that
I wasn't looking.
Now that I've read this version of it, it's a lot clearer. Why do old people always use ellipses instead of just putting period? Like they always put ... instead of period.
I don't know.
Every person
They have-
over 33 that I know
You're getting there.
I got 3 more years.
uses ... instead of just a period.
They have a lot more to say.
Just say it.
Mm-hmm.
Just say it. Also, it's like the older you get, the less you understand what should be a phone call and what should be a text. And it's always the opposite of what it should be.
Yep.
They'll never call when it should be a call. It's
Yeah.
always you get a book.
Yep.
Yeah.
My wife's dad, my father-in-law,
My wife.
he texts literally like one sentence at a time. So like not even a whole thought,
He texts like a 12-year-old.
like a sentence
Wow.
at a time.
He texts like the young people
And
do.
so like whenever I start getting texts from him, I wait like 20 minutes to even look at them, and then I have the full thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I work with a lot of students, and that's how they text.
Well, what I hate is when you text something to somebody and it's like, if you're still on the text screen for a second and then you see them start typing and then their typing thing goes away, so you wait a minute waiting for the text to come through and then it just never comes, so you're like, oh, okay, you saw it, you started saying something, you decided to delete that, and now you're not saying anything, but now I'm sitting here waiting for this to happen.
Facts.
And then it's weird if you send a second text, like you try and like finish that thought out a little bit more maybe, and maybe that like will push them to actually respond to what you were just saying. But then it's like you also don't know if like sending that other text, like it's gonna be one of those things where right when you send it, their text comes through.
Yeah, but that's always what I'm afraid of.
I know you've done it, and I like this idea to get somebody to respond. It's worked. It's that he sends a text, I don't respond. Like, if he sends it at, like, midnight, I'm already in bed. Like, I don't want to put the thought into it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I forget. He goes and he likes his text. So I get the notification about another awkward text. I'm like, oh, okay. He's waiting for a response.
Well, I'm not meaning it. It's I forget to text people, too. And so it's like, I'm going. It's kind of like, I look at that as the version of, like, there's two versions of me honking my horn, okay?
Yeah,
there's get the hell out. Like the dude earlier on the interstate who literally was like 75% into my lane and I had to get over. And I was trying to be nice. He kept kind of inching. And I kept thinking like, oh, he'll catch it.
He'll see
No,
me.
he just didn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just didn't. And so then I had to give him the get the hell out of the way horn. And then there's the second horn that I think is kind of like the liking the text. It's like the beep. Hey, just so you know, the light's green.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not trying to be a dude.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I usually, like, if it turns green, person in front of me doesn't move, I wait like
You
10
get 5
seconds?
seconds. You
5?
get 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
and then I give them a honk.
That's a really long time.
That's a long 5 seconds. Yeah. And I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hey, you probably shouldn't be texting and paying attention to the freaking lights at the intersection that you're sitting at.
See, mine's like after like 2 or 3 seconds, I'll give them the little beep, and I do that because I'm like, hey, just so you know, the light's green, because I also do that. Just so you know, like I'm on the same page. But no matter what, people hear a horn, and even if they're the ones, even if they're the ones, and if they're the ones that's in the wrong. You serious? Like
And they flip you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the bad guy.
In any other country, the horn is just another way of communication. Nobody gets offended at the horn.
Are you telling me Americans are sensitive?
Yes.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't drive well on your phone. You don't drive well on your phone.
Actually, I'm pretty good.
No, you don't. You're not.
No, actually,
You're
I'm pretty
not.
good.
When you're going like this, you don't drive well. Are you driving like this? You're not a good driver, and you're not good at it, and you think you are, but you're not, and it's gonna get you one day, and it's gonna be me.
It's kind of like the people who are like, oh, I drive even better when I'm high. You don't. You definitely don't. You don't know how many times I have legit heard that. Like, I could not put it on my hands.
That's the thing about being high is it makes you think you're a good driver.
I bet you think you're good at a lot of things.
See, I think this would I thought about it and realized that Evan wasn't going to be here, we could have had a guest. I think my dad should come on here and tell some of his stories.
Oh, he should have come on.
Yeah. Because when he was actively using and drinking, he was an amazing driver. When he got sober, he got his license suspended. Because
I gotta hear about this.
When he was using, like, he was more paranoid, so he was paying more attention. When he was sober, he's like, I have nothing to worry about, and he got pulled over so much.
Do you mind if I ask what he was using?
All of it.
All of it.
I mean,
I have like a lore in my head,
I
and I like to add supporting evidence to it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more appropriate to ask what he wasn't.
I mean, I don't know if it was all at the same time, but I mean, he was into meth and
weed,
and
that's weird because I've heard
other stuff.
that
I think
that meth users are typically not afraid of people in uniform.
Yeah.
They're more afraid of the people around them all the time.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that will run to the police officer and tell them that their mom is planning on poisoning them or something.
Yeah.
Whereas cocaine users are the ones that are really afraid of the people in uniform, and they'll like seek out like the really shady people,
Yeah.
to avoid the people in uniform even more. That's just what I've heard.
I think I know for sure meth and weed. I'm not sure about anything or everything else. I'm sure. Okay, but there has been times when he had been running from the cops, and he got tackled by a canine unit,
Oh wow.
and they couldn't find the drugs on his person. He had to show them where the drugs were. He's like he was sitting there. They were going through his pants, his jacket, his wallet. He's like, okay. He's like, you got me. So here it is. He had to show them. Another time, I think he was selling in a park, and he had the product in his handlebars of his bicycle. He got arrested on another warrant.
If you told me he was riding a bicycle, I would have known he was doing meth. I'm just gonna tell you that. You wouldn't have had to told me anything else. I'd be like, oh, he was on meth.
He got arrested on a completely different charge. Like, he wasn't caught selling or anything like that.
Okay.
It was another warrant. They impounded the bicycle. He got out. He got the bicycle out. The drugs were still in the handlebars.
No.
Yes.
I've heard
Yeah.
of people buying cars at police auctions and it just still being packed to the brim with drugs.
I had a friend who bought a car, and it was like, well, it was here in Arkansas, I'm pretty sure, and it was in the winter, so they weren't really using the heat all that much.
Oh no.
But then they go to the summer,
Yeah.
and they turn it on, nothing's coming out. So they pull the air conditioning, the vents apart. It's packed full of weed. Like,
Wow.
Like so full,
They
like
must have had to
no
be a
airflow.
lot.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So, I watch a lot of car videos, and there's this one dude who talks about he used to work at CarMax back in the day, and they sold this car. Next day it comes up, and they say there's a weird noise whenever the AC turns on. So they go back there and they pull it out, and they say they open up a little piece in the dash, and they say a little thing of pills comes out. Like, that's really weird. So they pull it out, and more. They said anywhere where there was coverings was stuffed full. They said eventually they filled a trash bag full of these little baggies.
Wow.
And they called the police, and they came and took all of it, of all these mystery pills, and then they put everything back, and they gave it back to the car owner. They're like, oh, the fan was a little loose. We got it fixed up for you. They never knew. They never knew that this entire car was packed full of unidentifiable pills.
Wow. That's crazy.
I think it would just be interesting to be that person hearing that, and you're going, wait 1 second.
Wait.
Wait, I thought I heard rattling. It sounds like 1,000 pill bottles. Everywhere I go, I hear this rattling. Like 100 skeletons running after me.
Whenever I had my Blazer, there were just many unidentifiable noises.
Blazer.
And you know what I did with those noises?
Ignore it.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
Ignored every single one of them.
Yeah. And
Like-
that car is gone.
Gonzo. Yeah, straight up, it would be like every 4 or 5 days, I'd hear a new sound. I'd just let it go.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about that. That's just gonna stay broke.
Yeah.
It's-
Did somebody break into it? Break your back windshield?
Yeah. So what they did was back when the back windshield was broken, it had plastic on it.
It's just a sad dog at the door.
First night, new apartment. Somebody took their shoes, bashed in the plastic, went through all my crap. Didn't take anything. I was just genuinely more mad that they broke this very nice plastic.
Yeah, it's like
Over the back.
$200.
Like, I would just much rather have I would have just rather have left the door unlocked.
Yeah.
And they just check it.
Yeah.
They just go through it because they didn't take anything because there wasn't anything in there worth being stolen.
Yeah. We had a friend in high school who, in the driveway of their house in the suburbs in Rogers, had their car broken into, and we were 15 or 16. They had their graphing calculator and their vape rig stolen. This was in 2012 when vape rigs were a new thing, and he didn't ever tell his parents about it because he didn't want to tell them his vapor had got stolen.
Of course not.
Yeah, so he just had to foot the bill for another $120 graphing calculator. Yeah.
Yeah. So hear me out. Calculators are really expensive.
Crazy
Unnecessarily
It's
expensive.
weird, dude.
You know why?
Because they can be.
Because one company makes the standard graphing calculator.
Yeah.
Well, I was also thinking that you have to have that calculator so they can just charge however much they want.
Because it's the standard one. There's literally like not another one they accept. Yeah. Yeah. And because for some reason, the only state proctored exam for most college students is college algebra. The Arkansas state government proctors that exam, and you all have to take it in the same room.
That's stupid.
It's the only one I ever took where I had to bring my ID to take the test.
That's weird.
It's really weird. And it's not like Arkansans know math. I'm just saying.
So, I'm thinking about this thing right now. In 7th grade, I was in math class and we watched a video, and it's one of those videos that's like, oh, you don't think you're going to need math in the future? Well, check this out. And it's like a baseball player doing the math on throwing the pitch and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
as a
they
kid,
don't
you're
ever
like,
do that.
Well, and as a kid, you're like, oh, I guess you do need math.
Nope.
No, you don't.
Nope, not one time.
I don't think
Yeah, you
a
don't.
single baseball player is ever thinking about the math behind throwing the baseball. Like,
See, the math I use, you wouldn't have learned in school, other than like trade school, like
Oh, yeah.
learning
No.
about heating and air conditioning.
No.
Like CFM, cubic feet per minute, like of airflow.
Nope, never learned it.
Never learned that.
don't even know what you're talking about.
Nope.
And what size pipe carries how much CFM?
Yeah. And you just plug that into a system, I'm sure, right? You just do that.
Just my head. I mean,
Yeah, you got
I
it.
just have all that stuff in
Yeah.
my head,
And you didn't ever do it in school.
No.
Yeah.
Didn't ever do it in school.
Yeah. The only thing I ever do.
I do have a little bit of a calculator on here. I guess.
I was
I'll
going to
show
say,
you,
the
but-
only thing I ever do is on my phone, and it's like basic algebra that you move the numbers around for in your head anyway, and then
Yeah.
it's just arithmetic
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
and this is straight up called a ductulator.
Perfect.
Duct calculator.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use any math that I learned past 4th grade.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Same.
I would.
So this school thing's a bunch of bullshit. You need to drop out right now because it ain't mean nothing.
Go to trade school. Yeah,
Go
don't
to trade.
college.
Go to trade
Don't go
school.
to
Don't go to school, okay? Just vibe.
Go to high school. Finish high school. It's not about the classes anyway.
It's irrelevant. I genuinely think I learned less in high school than I did in all of the rest of school. Scratch that. I did learn a lot in history because I actually kind of liked that. But the rest of it didn't mean anything. Not important.
Not important. It's not.
Really. I mean, I went there. I sat in a class. I sometimes did some homework.
It's about socializing mostly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is where you really learn to connect with other people and have social skills.
Rub it in.
Well, and that's why to high school kids, like public school kids, homeschooled kids are the smart ones. It's because it's like you're not distracted by all this dumb social stuff the whole time.
I'm smart and relatively socialized.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You wouldn't ever strike anybody as like a homeschool kid.
Yeah, I've gotten that a lot.
Yeah, there's a look though. There's a
Oh
look.
yeah, there's a look.
Yeah.
For sure. And even shut up, Brody.
Brody.
Even my two sisters, they don't represent the typical. A lot
No.
of my friends that I grew up with being homeschooled don't represent the typical homeschoolers. There are families.
Mm-hmm.
There are. But I was even straight up some of our friends we met at back when it was Mom and Carmen's, the coffee shop, for a game night. And we met another couple there, and after talking a little bit, and he looks at me and covered in tattoos, piercings, he's like, "You look too cool to have been a homeschooler." I'm like, okay, because so I get, I definitely don't look like a homeschooler apparently.
Yeah. We have like a. Is that one dead?
No, it definitely needs to be restarted. It's
Okay.
almost at 23.
What time is it? Oh, we got 10 more minutes. Just restart. that one going?
Mm-hmm. So we were at the store the other day, and I saw...
You and me?
Yeah,
The other day.
like a week ago.
Okay.
And I saw that...
Sorry, I'm out of breath.
That's what getting old does to you. So, I saw that woman, and I asked... What did I ask? I asked if she was Amish, that one?
Yes. Yeah.
What was she?
Mennonite.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
They have jean skirts.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then she
And
had
a
the
bonnet.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. What is that for? What?
Do
It's
you remember
part of their religion.
It's like
beliefs.
I'm gonna totally get this wrong, and my mom's gonna text me about it like 3 weeks from now, and then I'll be able to set the record straight.
All right.
But
cool.
they're like really Orthodox Christians. They're like halfway between Baptist and Amish,
Yeah.
kind of.
Sounds right.
Yeah. They do you remember?
Yeah.
His family was.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's not weird. It's different. Like it's.
They
Sorry,
don't have
scratch
TV.
That. Scratch it. It's weird that I knew him for so long and didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, it's because it means almost nothing. There's almost no difference for the guys. The guys like look normal and whatnot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Dress
girls
mostly
all
normal,
wear
yeah.
the skirts and their
Yeah.
hair
So
back.
well, like I guess that's just part of it. That's what they do.
So some of the I don't know about the skirts necessarily, but like the bonnets, the head coverings,
Yeah.
they follow scripture like strictly and literally, and it does say in the Old Testament that women should wear head coverings when they're out in public.
There are places where you can interpret it that way.
Yeah, okay. You're
Yeah.
saying it better than I am. That's
Well, I'm
what I
ju-
mean.
I'm just saying that like it doesn't say like put your hair in a bun and then cover the hair and the
Yes.
blah 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 blah. There is a portion of scripture they interpret that way that probably doesn't necessarily mean exactly that,
Yeah.
and is also completely ignorant to the fact that the New Testament and Old Testament are different things.
And it's
But,
right close to the same scripture that people use against me and my tattoos.
yeah,
That
probably.
don't mean that you shouldn't have tattoos. So
Which scripture is that one?
Leviticus 19:31, I
all the
think.
cool stuff that gets us in troubles in
Yeah.
Leviticus.
And what is it? Do you remember what it says exactly?
Don't get tattoos is what it says.
It says, "Do not cut yourselves or mark your bodies for the dead."
Yeah.
And basically, what it was talking about is, it was directed towards the Levites, which was the priest tribe. So, like the pastors, the officials that people looked to for religious guidance. And they were out in the middle of the desert, so hygiene was a big thing. So cutting yourself, tattooing yourself even was not clean there.
They're real OCD about it.
Yeah, well, people were dying of disease and stuff
Yeah.
when they were cutting their bodies. So they're trying to preserve the race or the human.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and it doesn't really say anything about tattoos. It's cutting yourselves or marking yourselves for dead. So as because marking yourselves for the dead would also kind of be more towards more like a memorial, like putting an idol or marking your having no other gods before you, like that type of stuff.
But there is a scripture, don't know which one it is off the top of my head, don't ask me, that does talk about Jesus on his thigh,
Yep.
right?
In Revelations, having on his robe and his thigh, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So,
Which we could only interpret as a tattoo.
yes.
Jesus is straight tatted.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, he's
homeboy.
Inked
You saw that man's
dude.
out there on the court at like 9 a.m. schooling homies, okay?
Sacrilege. This is sacrilege.
Oh, sorry. He was out there shooting hoops with the homies. Is that better?
There's actually another couple places, even in the Old Testament, talking about prophets and having tattoos.
Yeah.
And it being a good thing, like having
Yeah.
markings on their bodies.
So, have you ever met somebody that thinks their spiritual gift is prophecy?
Yes.
It's my favorite thing. My favorite thing is like, there's like there are like signs, right, of what your spiritual gift is. Can you do this and that? Do you feel this way a lot? Blah blah blah. And then there's the opposite. That's like, has this ever happened to you? Okay, you're probably not this one, right? Well, prophecy, to be a true biblical prophet, your prophecies, however you interpret that in the modern day, you can't ever have been wrong your whole life. If you're wrong one single time,
You can't be a prophet.
you are no. You. It's not that you can't be. You just aren't.
You just aren't.
Yeah. And like I work with some people who claim to be prophets, and I'm just kind of like, it's like I wouldn't ever follow your advice. I'm not saying that to be rude. It's just like I disagree, and so I would hate for that to be true because I just wouldn't pay attention.
I was laughing a second ago, and you guys probably won't find this funny, but I was just thinking, Jesus is out there going, get crucified. Like,
Yeah, that's
Will's
not
All
funny.
right, that's the end of the
That's
podcast
it.
of all
Just-
forever.
just
Forever,
We're
that's
done.
it.
Yeah.
We're done.
You know something
Hanging it up.
really weird? Speaking about spiritual gifts, you remember Josh Jenkins?
Yes.
Yeah. I've always thought my spiritual gift was discernment because in one day in front of the whole church, he was preaching about spiritual gifts, and the first example he used in big church was that he said my spiritual gift was discernment before any adult. I always thought that was weird, but I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
How does one discover their spiritual gift?
You just read about all of them, read what the Bible says about all of them. I think there's a website that kind of summarizes a lot of them and backs them up with scripture and just...
Is it kind of like the, what is it, Enneagram?
No, it's not like
No,
that at all.
not
It
like that at
it
all.
will ring perfectly true to some aspect of your life.
Yeah.
In a
So
sense
for
where,
me-
like, the Enneagram is like, this could apply to literally anybody.
No, Enneagram is specific enough. Like, I'm just saying, so, like, there's 9 Enneagram numbers, and each Enneagram number can either be itself or a pair with itself and the one on either side. So there's really, like, 80 combinations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, there's enough leeway in there. It's not like the Myers-Briggs where it's like, you're one of 5 people.
Yeah.
It's like, which one of these 5 people are you? It's like, I don't relate to any of these. It's like... I'm not going to get into that. I hate the Myers-Briggs. But the...
Prophets are more like the Sorting Hat in Harry Potter. You're for sure a Gryffindor.
Yeah. And some
And there's
of them,
no doubt.
So, like, you're... Like, Chad, yours... I'll just tell you right now, your music is a spiritual gift. You've literally always played music.
Joke's on you. I don't play music.
You're uniquely talented at it.
Yes.
And not only that, but, like, you play... one of those instruments that they played back then. It's like they had brass and drums back then.
That was it.
It wasn't like it took them a long time to get to the harp, and then they had like a sitar or whatever. But like you play the drums, and that's pretty biblical. But for me, it was like when I get like a gut feeling about a person specifically, I'm like I'm a typically pretty good judge of character, and I don't try to be like I'm a psychic or like I can look at somebody and know if they're a good person or a bad person. But if it's like, if I get a bad feeling about somebody, I don't say anything. I don't act any different, but I just keep that in mind, you know? And that's kind of a sign of having discernment as a spiritual gift. And there's a lot more to it, but a lot of them are really simple. It's like, I know a lot of people whose is teaching, and it's just like, are you good at teaching? That's probably your gift. Because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
What's your Enneagram number?
I'm a 5.
What do you think I am?
I haven't read about them recently enough to remember what all of them are.
I can't remember what mine is.
You
Oh, you're asking him so you can know.
No.
Oh.
I'm wondering what he thinks.
Oh.
you there's 8 in you. Like an 8 is the challenger. So basically like you want to do it your own way, and if there's like a way that's been suggested to you, even if that might be the right way, you kind of want to get there on your own. And if you are introduced into a system, you want to see if you can do it your own way and like change that. And like your lifestyle reflects that a lot too. Like the musician lifestyle, it really is that, because there's an American dream, and a lot of that is in the musician, but what most people do is the complete opposite of what the musician does. It's like you get out of school and then you go to college and then you get a J job and you work hours until you get your pension and then you die alone. And the musician leaves high school and they're like, I'm going to play music somewhere until I die. So I think there's part of that, whether you're a 9 or a 7 with an 8 wing or an 8 with one of those wings.
See, my sister Meredith, who swears by these, says I'm a 7, and then I took the test, which I feel like taking one of those tests is very like overthinking. You're like, well, I could be kind of like that, but at the same time,
well, you're
like,
supposed to go with your gut feeling.
Well,
That's
here's
how
the
you're
thing.
supposed to take
My
them.
gut feeling is very all over the place. Okay, so
It's a big gut.
so
Wow.
we
Just straight up, huh?
wow. So like. I think I forget what number the test told me, but it was not 7. But and then I
Did
was
it give
like,
you 3? Do you remember what any of them are?
could not even tell you.
Okay.
Can't remember.
That's helpful.
But now I'm sitting on 3 different numbers. One of them is a mystery number. I don't know. I think it's kind of like that thing where it's like some dude tweeted. He was like, I forget exactly what he said, but he did something that was pretty crappy. And then he told somebody, he was like, oh, I'm a Scorpio. And they're like, oh, that's so Scorpio of you. He's like, psych, I'm like a Capricorn. Like,
Yeah.
but
No,
it's
it's
like,
not like that. It's not like that. You're supposed to take your life experience as an adult and see if it fits into the system. And it doesn't work for everybody, but there's so many variables that you're going to fit in a little bit somewhere. And so like when I took the test, it said I was a 1, and a 1 is like the rule follower, the leader, the type A personality. That's not me at all. But my second number was a 5. So what I did was I read what the book said about the 5, and it's like if you're a 5, you're going to find yourself thinking these things a lot. And it was like literally quoted thoughts, and I was like, I think those things probably every day. And so I read more about that. And it's like, if you don't have time to do that kind of thing, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Mm-hmm. If you have a job that requires you to submit your Myers-Briggs personality type, you don't want that job. I'm just going to tell you right now. Just pro tip.
Just don't do it. Don't
big
do
brain
it.
move.
We got to wrap this sucker.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Well, it's been nice.
Not having Evan here. I mean,
Evan, are you an idiot? Heard it there first.
So I deleted the episode I pulled that screen cap from, and then I saw the episode on my Premiere, and so every time it played Evan saying yes, it was the shape of Evan, but just the red text media missing. Anyways,
oh no.
it's gone. Have a great week.
Peace.
Bye.